I have the Jaeger Italy Kentucky rifle in 45. So I'm going to be using a 440 patch ball, which is going to be a .010 patch. It's going to be pre-lubricated, of course. And I'm going to be going between two different types. I'm going to have a swaged round ball, and I'm also going to have a sprued ball. And we're going to see how they both perform on ranges of 25 and 50 yards. We're also going to be doing some penetration tests at the end. So if you're not familiar with the Kentucky long rifle, it's an American icon. You're going to pretty much see it on every statue and painting from early Americana. It's known as the Kentucky long rifle because it's just so darn long. I mean, sitting on its butt. This one's relatively short because it doesn't go up all the way, but some of the originals were all the way up to here. But this is a shortened down version. The Pennsylvanias that you'll get from, like, say, Pedersoli, yeah, they're really that tall. But this one's not so bad. This is an early 80s model that I picked up on the side somewhere. We'll put it like that. Let's get her pattern in and check it out with me. Now, of course, the Kentucky rifle is a muzzle loader. So you'll have to take out your ramrod, put your round in there. We'll do a little bit of loading in a minute. But send it down there. Make sure that she's empty. That's empty. And then, long story short, without getting too far into it, it's a pretty simple method of loading her up, but you only get one shot, so you better be accurate. Now, this being a flintlock and a muzzle loader, it is not your regular cartridge-fed or breech loader rifle. Obviously, like I just showed you, it's a muzzle loader. You load it from the muzzle, right? Now, the later models, known as percussion, there would be like a percussion cone right here. You put the percussion cap on there, cock it, and off she goes. Well, a flintlock does not work like that. You have to put a little bit of powder right there in the pan. You can see the touch hole right there. You close what's called the frizzen, or the strike surface there. Pull back your cock and get a little bit of a spark there. That's how you ignite it. Now, these rifles usually come pretty darn bare, so I added a sling to it to obviously make it a whole lot easier to wield in the woods. And to protect that frizzen, because I don't want that thing getting destroyed, I have a leather frizzen cover. Pretty neat, right? Super simple. Just hangs off the trigger guard. Not necessary, but good to have. Now, with the flintlock rifle, it does require a kit to keep this thing running. Like I mentioned before, you can't just slap a cartridge in there and she's off to go. No, you need the entire kit. I mean, we're talking primitives here. So you're going to start off, and the biggest thing you're going to have is your possibles bag or your shooting bag. Next, you're going to have some sort of powdered horn or some sort of container to hold your powder. You're going to want to have a short starter, which is pretty darn nice, especially when you're getting a little bit fouled up. It's nice to have a napping hammer right here. You're going to want two different kinds of patches. You're going to want your dry patch and you're going to want your lube patch. And then, of course, you're going to have your pan primer there. And you're also going to have a powder measure just to keep things safe. So like I mentioned, you got two different kinds of patches. These are your loading pre-lubed patches right here. These are the .01 thickness. And these are going to be your cleaning patches. So you can send them through dry. I would not recommend. Okay? Or you can spray them down with a little bit of Ballistol. Or pop it in your mouth, get it moist. At least get some of that fouling out of there. These are very important. Your pan primer right here, it's not really necessary. You can actually load from your regular charge, but this has actually got 4F in it. And all you do is you just push on this little nipple right here, and it throws out like about 3 grains of charge in your pan. Just makes things a whole lot easier. This little napping hammer, that's to keep your flint nice and sharp. If it's not sharp, it don't spark. Now, I do believe I forgot to mention the vent pick right here. So that'll be in your touch hole, and if you push up on this little slider here, and you might be able to see it, that little line of wire there, and you're going to put that inside your touch hole and like kind of squirt it around, and then it'll keep that cleared out so you can have the flame going through. An important piece of equipment to have with you, you wouldn't even think about it, a handkerchief to wipe your pan between shots so it doesn't get clogged up. If you have too much buildup and fouling in that pan, you're not going to get a good flame going through that touch hole. Same as if you don't pick it, it's going to get clogged up, gooked up, and all that stuff. It's just not going to work out. Use your handkerchief. All right, so we have an idea of how this thing is run, the kit we need to run it. Let's do something very important that you always do before you do anything, and that is make sure she is not loaded. As you can see, it is flush. She is not loaded. There is no ball down there, no charge, no nothing, so you're not going to get a surprise, which, trust me, it's happened to me before. It's not fun. Okay, step 2. I just took her out of storage, and I did oil it before I put it up. for a little while. So I'm going to take my range rod with a dry patch, and that'll sop up any kind of moisture that's left down in there from the oil or whatever. And she should be good now. We're going to be testing two different kinds of ball today. They're both going to be 440 sized, but one of them is cut sprue and one of them is swaged ball. What's the difference? The swaged ball, as a shortened explanation, is a pressure treated, perfectly round ball. The sprue ball is actually cast and cut off at the sprue, and you can probably see that right there. So we'll see how they stack up against each other today, which one's more accurate. All right guys, got all my pre-prep done, so let's take it at 25 yards and we're gonna start it off with the sprue ball. Okay guys, I'm gonna keep it nice and simple. I'm gonna have to load off the table. We're gonna start off by loading 50 grains of 3F Schutzen powder. Obviously my flask has a powder measure already attached to it, but I'm not gonna throw directly from the flask. And she goes. Easy peasy. Okay, and then we're gonna take our patch, our sprue ball. Now I'm told it's supposed to be more accurate if you do it sprue up. So we'll go with that. Try and center it on the patch. Get around there. Get your short starter. Push it in. Alright, got her started. Take my range rod here. Solid brass, super easy, nice and heavy. Always rams it down, no problem. You don't have to beat around it. You're not gonna bust a hickory ramrod up or anything like that. Keeps it simple. Okay, now our ignition source. Send that frizzen to the front. You're gonna load a little bit into the pan there, not a lot. You don't want to overload it, because if you do too much, it's just gonna give you a hang fire. You don't want that. Alrighty, at 25 yards with the sprued ball, let's see how we do. Hey, I'm not seeing an impact. Let's try again. Alright, shot number 2, and we're gonna see where this one lands. I'm not too confident about that first one. That don't look good. Alright, looks like it hit high and right. Okay, that's 3 shots. Let's see what happened. Well, it's kind of odd duck, because here's your first shot, second shot, and then third shot was dead in the middle. Not a particularly impressive group, to be honest with you.